Wonderful Life message for today is titled, The Good Life, The Good Life. So each and every one of us, we know that as we take into our mind, our heart, and our soul the good desires of our heart, that we start finding ourselves realizing more and more that it's necessary for us to take the time to be still and to take God into our mind and focus our concentration on the good things that we want. In the book of Psalm 62:5, we can read, "My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him." In other words, our soul waits upon God to move through our consciousness, that our expectation is from the Spirit. And Jesus said the Spirit is life and truth, and we must worship the Spirit in life and in truth and intelligence, and know that there's only one power, and that power is God. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale tells us that one of the most serious and powerful facts in human nature is that you are likely to get what you are basically expecting. Remember, we don't get what we want, we get what we expect. So he says one of the most serious and powerful facts in human nature is that you are likely to get what you are basically expecting. Spend years developing the mental attitude of expecting that things are not going to turn out well, and you are likely to get that result. You create a mental condition slanted to an unhappy outcome. If, on the contrary, you develop and maintain a mental attitude of faith and expectancy, hoping and dreaming, believing and praying and working, you will create conditions in which every good thing can and will grow. So fill your mind with the positive power of spiritual expectancy, and God and God's good will flow towards you. God and God's good will flow towards you. So we can take those words to heart, and we can realize that that's the truth for all of us, that our positive expectancy creates an energy. It's like a magnet that draws to us people, places, things, ideas, opportunities, open doors to greater success and prosperity and health and happiness and joy. So we know that we must take it into our mind that we are expecting the good to show up. We're expecting the good to be revealed to us. God is omnipresent good, but we're not always seeing the good. We're not always aware of the good because we're so fastened in our mind to the physical that we forget that the greatest good that's going to be ours is coming to us from that great unseen idea, that unseen presence, that unseen power, that unseen intelligence that's always working everything to our good. Let's look at these words from Nora Home. This is from her book, The Runner's Bible, The Runner's Bible. She writes, "The real spiritual man's relationship to his Father, which is God, is much the same as that of the sunbeam to the sun. Nothing can separate the sun from the sun any of its rays. Made of its substance, partaking of its nature, its image and likeness, the sun gives to each a particular mission, a certain angle to fill with its light and heat. Man is God's offspring." We can read this in the book of Acts 17:29. "Coexists with him and is eternal. Connected with the source of supply, nothing can prevent all that he needs for being his, life, breath, and all things. Like the sunbeam, each man has his own angle to fill, his special work to do, and in order that he may have all possible assistance, God's infinite spirit, infinite intelligence, has given him dominion over everything except his brother man. Thus, each individual is part of the divine plan necessary to the perfect whole, necessary to the perfect whole." So we know that we can look at those words and we can think about what it means to us. It means we're always connected to God. God is life. We are alive, so we're part of life. God is intelligence. We can analyze, we can think, we can come to conclusions about things. Each and every one of us have that nature of God within us, that image of God, that image and likeness of God, intelligence and power and spirit. But so many people go through their days not thinking about that, because their mind is so shackled to the things that they don't have, so shackled to the things that are of the negative, so shackled to the ideas of the world, that they forget that all the way back to the book of Genesis, primitive man had already had it revealed through their minds that God is all, that God is life, God is energy, God is intelligence, God is power, God is the presence of spirit within each and every one of us. So as we establish this identification and unification with God in our consciousness, we may have moments where we feel separated from the present. The separation is due to the influence of the collective consciousness, that is the world mind, that continues to believe in a God somewhere out there that is separate and apart from us. But in truth, we cannot be alive and be separated from God, for God is our very life. Each of us are called to express God's life in our own individual way as infinite individualization to the one. God is not copied or duplicated any single one of us, nor will any of our experiences ever be exactly the same as anyone else's, for we are always experiencing our own individual consciousness, our own individual consciousness. Now, we are accustomed to hearing that spiritual or religious people are called to their particular work or mission, but this calling is simply their responding to the desire within them by acting on it. The reality is that we are all called to something, for we all have felt the desire to do something, to have something, or to be something. Our desires are the divine guiding us to that which will give us a greater, more fulfilling experience of life. No good desire comes to our awareness unless we have in consciousness what it takes to see it fulfilled, or we at least have what it takes for the Spirit to prepare us for something greater. But it is up to us to maintain the strength of our desires, for it is our strong desires that cause the unformed substance of spirit and to be made manifest as that which we particularized it to be. Now, Nora Holmes shares with us the wisdom of knowing that God has given us dominion over everything, that is everything except other people. So we realize that the power of God as universal, which means it works for everyone in the same way, and not only does it work for everyone in the same way, it gives to each of us equally, and the most important gift we receive is freedom of choice. Freedom of choice. We can choose to live anywhere we want in any way we want, but we cannot choose any of these things for anyone else, no matter how much we may love them or hate them. What this means to us in our individual experiences is that we are not to outline, that is, tell the infinite how to manifest our good, or who to include in it, or where our good comes from. These things we must surrender to the Spirit that knows all and works intelligently for us. Our responsibility is to maintain the strength of our desires within us and to keep faith with the infinite to bring them to pass. And it will, as long as it does not take the freedom to choose away from anyone else. This may appear to be bad news for those who pray that others will change, or that their husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend who has left them will return or love them more or change into the perfect husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, but they will only change if they choose to. God does not choose for them or affect any changes within them without their consent. We cannot change anyone. We can only change our thoughts about them and our relationship to them. Persistence in attempting to take someone else's liberty from them will only make us miserable, and we will not achieve a greater life experience for it. We must understand this. Remember, we don't get what we want, we get what we expect. We don't get what we want, we get what we expect. And today we can say with absolute faith and conviction, today I expect a more abundant life. Now, that abundant life includes health and happiness and joy and success and prosperity. It includes the good life. Jesus said, I have come to tell you that you may have life and you may have it more abundantly. You may have it more abundantly. And so many people, they don't seem to understand that means everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what race, creed, color you are, nationality you are, what status you are in the world, what the world may call you or label you as being, God doesn't know any of that nonsense. One of the most dramatic stories in the Bible is about the book of Job. When you think about Job, I immediately think about the law of mind, the law of God. God is the law of mind. It's a law that's universal. It's a law that works for everyone the same way. Just as Jesus said, it's done unto us as we believe and expect the good, as we believe and expect things to be wonderful and joyous and to be healthy and happy and prosperous. We shall receive those things, but as we believe in the negative, then the negative will fall somehow into our life experience, whether we're believing it for ourselves or believing it for someone else, because that negative belief is held in our own individual mind. So let's look at the book of Job, Job 3:25. The thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. That the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. So just think about those words, that thing that he greatly feared. Just think if he was thinking about something wonderful and marvelous, he could say, that thing which I greatly loved is come upon me, and that which I was loving is coming unto me. That which I was loving is coming unto me. That which I was enthusiastic about, expecting it to be wonderful, is coming unto me. So we go back to Dr. Norman Vincent words. One of the most serious and powerful facts in human nature is that we are likely to get what we are basically expecting. We can spend years developing the mental attitude of expecting that things are not going to turn out well, just like Job, and we are likely to get that result. We create a mental condition slanted to an unhappy outcome. If, on the other hand, we develop and maintain a mental attitude of faith and expectancy, hoping and dreaming, believing and praying and working, we will create conditions in which every good thing can and will grow. So as we fill our mind with the positive power of spiritual expectancy and God and His good, the spirit of good, the spirit of joy, the spirit of happiness and peace and love and harmony and financial abundance, all good things will find their way into our life experience. Will find their way into our life experience. But we must believe it. We must believe it. And we must believe it in a way that is more dominant than our belief in the negative, our belief in the not good. So let's take these words into our mind today and just let ourselves reflect on this. This is an affirmation from the wonderful Dr. Joseph Murphy. Dr. Joseph Murphy was the author of that worldwide bestseller, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And we know that there's all levels of mind that are talked about and wrote about, but we know that the mind that has stayed on God, stayed on the good, is the mind that draws unto us all the good things. So this is from the great Dr. Joseph Murphy. He writes, I acknowledge and identify with the source within me, that is the kingdom of God within me that Jesus declared is within me and you and everyone. I make contact with this source through my thought. I give thanks that the gateway to riches and joy is now open wide for me and for you and for everyone. More and more money is circulating in my life every day, and more money is waiting to come into your life as you announce it and expect it and believe in it right now, right where you are. Don't think about how it is to come to you. Just think about it coming to you. Feel that great joy in your soul every day that God is giving to you. All good things that are necessary for you to live the joyful life, the good life, the abundant life, and the wonderful life. Every day of your life you can grow richer spiritually, mentally, financially, in all ways as your mind is stayed on God, stayed on the good. And remember, money is God's idea circulating in your life. So as you receive freely, give freely, just as the mastermind Jesus instructed, then you will always have a surplus of money, and you will circulate it with joy. And let's just give thanks right now, right where we are, to the living God, the living Spirit, the living intelligence, the living power, who gives us richly of all things to enjoy. Right now, right where we are, let's just open our mind to it. Let's just open our mind to it. We have been created for God to express itself through us. We should try to never lose sight of this. This is why the first book of the Bible and the Torah, Genesis, reveals that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 3:16, we can read, "Do you not know that you are a temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwells in you?" Do you not know that you are a temple of God, and that the Spirit of the Almighty dwells in you? And as this Spirit of God brings to your awareness a desire that will provide for you a greater life experiences, you must know in faith that the Spirit is choosing to experience this through you. As we accept our good desires as ours immediately when they come to our awareness, we are trusting in God's good pleasure to give to us that which we desire for ourselves. Just like Jesus said, it is the Father's good pleasure to give to you. And he said the Father is Spirit. Is Spirit, not a spirit. Is Spirit, omnipresent, everywhere present. Just as we read in the book of Isaiah, I am the Lord, besides me there is no thing besides me. There is only nothingness. So we know that the Spirit of God is present with all of us, everywhere present, just like the air that we breathe. We're living in the air that we breathe, and we draw into our body all the air that we need to be healthy and to realize the life-givingness of our breathing and our inhaling and our exhaling. But we are living in the air that we breathe, that same air that we breathe. If somebody walks into our direction and comes in contact with us, when we exhale, they are inhaling the very air that we have just breathed into our own lungs, our own body, and our own heart, and our own soul. So we know, just as Jesus said, we're to look at nature and to realize that we're all in this thing together. We're all part of life. We're all part of God. There's only one life. That life is God, and that life is within you and me and everyone. Let's look at some more words from the great Dr. Joseph Murphy. He tells us, desire is the cause of all feeling and action, and it is the moving principle of the universe. Learn that there is an infinite intelligence within you which can fulfill your desire, and you will overcome all sense of opposition and frustration. There is a power within you which will lift you up, set you on the high road to happiness and health and the realization of your fondest dreams. But we must understand our relationship to God, power, God intelligence, and God's Spirit, for us to have that great faith. Remember, faith is the strength of the soul, and lost is the person without it. So in order to gain that strength of the soul, we must understand. So let's go back to Nora Holm. This is Holm, Nora Holm, The Runner's Bible. You can find that book on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, but you want to get Nora Holm, The Runner's Bible. It's a easily read Bible. It's an easily read book that gives us understanding of the scriptural writings in the Bible, spiritual revelations from all the mystics throughout the Bible. She writes, the real spiritual man's relationship to his Father, God, is much the same as that of the sunbeam to the sun. Nothing can separate the sun from any of its rays. Made of its substance, partaking of its nature, its image and likeness, the sun moves through all the energy of the rays the same way. Man is God's offspring, coexist with him, is eternal. Connected with the source of supply, nothing can prevent all that we need from being ours, life, breath, and all things. Like the sunbeam, we each have our own angle to fill, our own special work to do, and in order that we may have all possible assistance, God has given us dominion over everything except dominion over our brother man and woman. Thus, each individual is part of the divine plan necessary to the perfect whole, So God so loved the world that God gave a part of itself, its energy, its spirit, its power, its intelligence, to each and every one of us. Incarnated within each of us, inherent within us, is the very image, the very nature of God. And as we align our mind with the nature of God, the nature of good, the nature of happiness and joy and peace and love, the happiness, a feeling, that divine tranquility in our life. And we know that we're on the right way. We're on the right way to a wonderful life. We're on the right path to a wonderful life. We're on the right thought to a wonderful life. The right idea to a wonderful life. That's the truth for me, and the truth for you, and the truth for everyone. So God bless you. So it is. Amen.